So this is what a normal table looks like in Power BI, right? So we have columns and we have values, and we can include color codes saying if it's green is above target, if it's red is below target, and amber if it's between, right? But what if we want to create a fancy table such as this one instead of that one? So where user can not only be able to see the color codes and values, but they can also see the criteria for those color codes and hanging right below the column headers, right? And this is going to be much more user friendly and much more preferable over this one, because for example it's saying 80% over here for the profit percent, but how would the user know that the criteria, well, how would they know the criteria for the amber, right? What is the criteria? What's the target? What's the number, right? And for the similarly for the red, it's saying these are all reds, but what's the criteria for that one, right? So this is a much more informative than that one, and this is a fancy visual, and that this will make your report prettier as well, and you'll make your user much more happy. And this is what we're going to learn in this video tutorial. Hello guys, welcome to my channel Power BI with Ross. My name is Ross, and today I have come up with another Power BI tips and tricks video where I'm going to show you how to create a fancy table visual such as this one. In my last video I showed you guys how to freeze multiple columns in Power BI matrix visual, which everyone loved. If you haven't watched that video, I'll leave the link to in the description, as well as a card should pop up at the top. But yeah, thank you for everyone for the support, and I did mention in that video that at the end that I'll show you guys how to create a table such as this one, and that's what we're going to do in this video tutorial. So this is how our data set looks like, right? So this is a sales data for a week, and we have 7 days, Sunday to Saturday, right? We have total sales, total profit, and I'll show you the measures I've created, and we are concerned with total sales, which is the sum of this column, total sales for each day. We have profit percentage, which is just sum of the profit divided by sum of sales, as you can see in the expression as well, for each day, right? So this is how our data set looks like. And this is the approach we're going to follow. So the sales and profit percentage is going to be two measures, okay? One for sales, one for profits. But the column days is going to be taken from another table, which we are going to create manually, okay? And we're going to show you, I'm going to show you how we create the custom row table in the next step. So to create the custom row table, just go to Power Query, Transform Data. So what I've done is I've already created the row table for you guys because I don't want to waste your time, right? So I've already got the row table, and I did that by just clicking that enter data over here. And if I go to the settings, you should be able to see how I've created the columns. We have row names. This is for red color, amber for amber color, green for green color, and this one's for blank, as you can see here. This is the fourth column, sorry, the fourth row is for this one, and the rest of the days I've put it under the first four cells, right? And I've given them IDs as well. The reason for that is to sort the row name by the ID. If I don't do that, then Power BI is going to sort the visualization alphabetically. I don't want that. I want in the same order as this one. So that's why I've created the ID column as well. So I'm going to load this data to my report, and it's already loaded. And you can see there is don't miss the end as well, because I've got a challenge for you guys, because I'll show you the challenge as well, because I'm showing the day. I don't want you guys to wait until the end, okay? So I'm creating a visualization for day names, right? Sunday to Saturday, and that's pretty straightforward. But the challenge is I want you guys to try out for the date, okay? Because you can't manually enter the date because it's dynamic. It's going to change every day, right? So tomorrow is going to be different date. You might want to get top 5 dates, right? Top 10 dates. So how are you going to do that? So that's a challenge for you guys, but for now I'm going to show you how to do it for the day names, okay? So let's go show you the data model first. So I've already loaded the row table, and the sales table is already the existing sales table where we have the measures, right? So first thing we need to do is create a relationship between the row table and the sales, and we do that by the common column called row name and the day from the sales table, okay? That's the common columns. So the reason I'm doing that is because I want to get the sales and profit values for these Sunday, Monday, which are the common common records between two tables, right? So I'll just show you by dragging and dropping a table visualization as well. Okay, so what I've basically done is, because I created that relationship because I want the total profit as well as the total sum to be shown for all those records. And if I go show items with no data, it's going to give me the blank values for red, amber, green, and the blank cell. Okay, so that's why I created the relationship. Now it looks like we're almost there, right? So the only thing we need to do is now fill up these ones, right? We don't want users to see red, amber, and green. We need to get rid of that text, as well as fill up these ones with criterias, right? These cells with criterias. So let's do that. So first thing first, what I'm going to do is the first measure is going to be called a selected ID. Okay, and I've already created that measure. So basically what this measure is going to do is it's going to get the ID, which is 1 2 3 4, the integer value of each of the row name that I created, right? And this is going to get the ID for each of the row name, right? So if I drag and drop that to the table, this one, it's going to show us the ID. And there is a reason for that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first 4 IDs, right, and I'm going to create a criteria for first 4 IDs, and for the rest I'm going to create a different criteria, right? So that's why I created a measure called selected ID. So let's create another measure. Okay, so now this is going to be for the color formatting. Okay, but first I don't want to confuse you guys, but let's go create a measure for sales. Okay, now the sales measure is going to be calculate sales for if the data is Sunday to Saturday, right? But calculate, give me less than 100 if it's red, 100 to 150 it's amber, and green if it's greater than 150. Okay, so let's create that measure. Okay, I'm gonna name this measure a sales data. Okay, and it's gonna take, of course, the selected ID, but I've already created the measure, so it's gonna use a function, DAX function switch statement. Okay, switch statement is true. So what I need is the selected ID. Okay, the selected ID is going to get me the ID. So what I'm going to do is, if it is 1, which is red, right? So if it's 1, then the value is less than 100. Okay, less than 100. That's our criteria for red, right? And I'm going to copy paste that for amber, green, and the other values. Okay, and that's our switch statement. So let's go 2. Let's go 3, and let's go 4. So if it's amber, so that's 100 to 150, right? 100 to 150. And if it's green, it's greater than 150, right? And if it's 4, which is the blank cell, right, I want to return blank. Okay, and now if else, which is these values, if it's not 1 2 3 or 4, I want the measure to return the sales, right? So what's going to return is called total sales. Okay, it's going to return total sales. So now I'll show you. I'll drag and drop that. The sales data is already used, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sales data X. Okay, because I already done this visualization before, so that's why I can't create the measure name again. Anyway, so let me drag and drop that sales data X that we created over here. Sales data X to the table. I'm gonna get rid of that selected ID, selected X. Yep, there you go. That's our sales, and it's looking like the one we have in the first visualization, right? Something like this. So now we have got the criteria sorted, right? Criteria. And we have the cells for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and these are the static values. Now let's get rid of that total sum. There's this column over here, total sales sum. Let's get rid of that, and we're going to repeat the same step for total profit as well. So what I'm going to do from sales data X measure, I'm going to copy, and I'm going to create another measure, and that's going to be for profit percentage. Okay, let's go create a measure called profit percentage. I'll go profit data X because I want to name the same, because I don't want to be confused. Okay, so profit data X, switch, if it is 1 is less than 80%, right? If it is 2, which is amber, it's 80%, exactly equal to 80%, okay? And if it's green, is greater than 80%, right? And if it's blank, it's blank. And if it is not blank, which is this or Sunday to Saturday, I want total profit percent, okay? That's pretty simple. And let me drag and drop to the table. Let's drag and drop that measure to the table. Where is it? Profit data X, right? So let's put it over there, and that's going to give us the data we want, right? But you can see that these are in the decimal format, it's not in the percentage format. So let's change that, and we do that by multiplying it by 100, right? Multiply it by 100. So we also want to see the percentage icon as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a percentage icon. So this measure is a text type anyway, because it's returning text over here for these 4 values. So it's going to be the text as well. So let's go add a percentage, and it's going to completely change that to text value, okay? So now we have the percentage, and we can see that there are extra decimal points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of those by using the function called round, and round that to 2 decimal points, okay? The result will be now only 2 decimal points, and we can see the percentage icon as well. So that's exactly what we want. Now let's get rid of that total percentage as well, okay? Let's get rid of that total percentage, and this is our unformatted final table, okay? So we are almost there. The only thing we need to do now is get rid of these texts, as well as do the conditional formattings, okay? So let's start with the text first, okay? So what I'm going to do, go to the formatting visual option, okay? Formatting visual option. So before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another measure. So that's going to distinguish between the first 4 IDs and the other days IDs, okay? So what I'm going to name it is a day index, okay? I want to name as a day index with $X or $X, okay? And I'm going to create a switch statement, all right? And this is for a distinguish purpose, okay? We want to distinguish between the first 4 and the other records, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go selected ID. If it is 1, then 1, right? If it's 2, then 2. If it's 3, then 3. 4, then 4. But if it's not 1, 2, and 3, 4, I want the other records, the measure to return 5 for other records, okay? So 1 is 1, if it is 2, then 2, if it is 3, then 3, okay? If it is 4, then 4, okay? And there is a reason I've created this measure, and I'll show you later. So let's leave as it is for now. Now let's change the background color first, okay? The background color for the row names. So let's go to the formatting options, go to tables, formatting option, go to cell elements, that's called cell elements option, and select the row name, which is the column we are interested in. And now check the background color on, and that will show you the background color options. Select rules, of course, and now select the measure that we have created called day index, okay? Now day index $X. Now if it is equal to 1, then it's red color, of course, right? The background color, okay? This is for the background color. If it is 2, then amber. If it is equal to 3, then it's a green, right? And if we apply that, it's going to change the background color. Now we need to change the font color as well, and the font color needs to be exactly the same as the background color, otherwise it's going to show the text anyway, okay? So let's go to the font color and apply the same rule, and select the same colors. Day index, okay, equals to 1, and apply the same color. That's for amber. Now this is amber, and now for green, which is 3, that's going to be the green color, right? That's going to be green. Now our font is not visible at all, okay? Now I'm going to get rid of this alternative color as well, and we do that by going to the values section and select alternative background color as white as well, and it's all of the table is going to be white now, okay? Now the last thing we need to do is apply conditional formatting for these values over here, right? So if it is, this is 100, which is equal to, this needs to be amber colored, right? And this needs to be a green colored. So that's what we're going to do next. For that one, let's create another measure, okay? And this is going to be called a sales index measure, okay? And I'll show you why I'm creating this measure. This is to, I'm going to go triple X. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go if statement, okay? Now we created a date index measure, right? Which is, if it's 1, it's 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, 4 is 4, but for the rest, it's going to be 5, right? So we weren't concerned with color formatting for these values. So what I'm going to do is, if this value index, if date index value is 5, which is for these days, then apply following step, which is switch, okay? Now I'm going to apply the rules, which is if the total sales, which is our total sales, right? If total sales is less than 100, then it's a red color, right? And go copy that, paste that for amber and another for green, and there needs to be an else statement. So if it's greater or equal to 100 and less than 150, right? And that's the condition for the amber. And if it's greater than 150, that's the condition for green, right? And give this a number 2 for amber, 3 for green, okay? And let's go 0 if nothing else, okay? So that's the else statement. So now let's go to that table visual we have here, and instead of row name, now let's change the background color. So let's go to the formatting option, cell elements, and now instead of row name, let's change the background color for sales data X, okay? For the sales data X, check the background color, go to FX, the functions, go to rules, and instead of sales data, go to sales, and go select the measure we created, which is sales index triple X, right? So if it is 1, then it's red. If it is equal to 2, it is amber, right? And if it is 3, it is green, right? So if I apply that step, we're gonna get the result color formatting for these values, right? So that's what we did here. Now we're going to do is we're going to repeat the same step for sales, for profit percent as well, okay? So this was for sales index. Now let's go create another measure, okay? And this is going to be for profit index. Okay, let's copy paste, and I'm going to rename this as a profit index triple X. So if it's 5, which is for these days, for these rows, right? If it is less than, so profit, the percentage should be in a decimal, so 0.80 is 80, right? So let's go 0.80, which is equal to, that's the amber condition for profit percentage, is if it's equal to 80, then it's amber. If it's greater than 80, then it's green, right? And we need to change this to profit percentage, okay? Profit percentage, and I'm going to copy that, copy, paste it, and paste it, okay? Now we're going to repeat the same step that we did for sales column, but now for profit column, okay? So now go to the sales element, the cell element, sorry, and select the profit data X, okay? And repeat the same step. But for the rules, I want to select the measure that we just created, which was for profit index triple X, okay? Now let's go at 1, that's for red, so change the background color to red. That's for 2, change that to amber, and for 3, which is green, change the number to green, okay? Background color to green. And that's going to give us the background color, and that's pretty much what we wanted, right? So exactly the one that we I showed you guys in the table visual, exactly the same. And this is a much better solution than the one like this one over here, right? But also I guys mentioned you there is a challenge, right? So now the challenge is, how do we create a table, a similar table, but for dates? And what if you want just top 5 dates or top 10 dates, right? So that's a challenge for you guys. Please let me know if you could, if you know, like if you figured out how to do that. Please let me know in the comments. So that's all for everything. That's everything for today. If you guys can't figure out how we deal with dates, let me know and I can create another short video or a part 2 of this video tutorial. Until then, thank you everyone. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Like, subscribe. Your support is very much appreciated. And also the 525 subscribers that I have, thank you so much for your reviews, your comments. I read all of your comments, and I'm trying to help you guys as much as possible, make your report look awesome and make your users happy. So I'll come up with another tips and tricks video soon. Until then, thank you very much. Have a good day, have a great year, have a great month. Take care.